Hey, Peter Vesnes here. I wanted to talk about things that own themselves. It was on my list from last couple times ago that we haven't talked about. So this is like a really, to me, super interesting idea that only people with some blockchain experience seem to understand. Like, we're used to like humans owning things, governments owning things, which are controlled by people. A thing that owns itself is like, sounds just like this weird, tautological concept. What does that even mean? But like, there's actually been some interesting court cases in the U.S. that I think relate to this idea societally. So there's a test case about a lake and whether or not inhabitants on the lake could bring a lawsuit on behalf of the lake because the lake was being polluted. And this is like a pretty interesting idea, and it's partly just like an end run around how the U.S. legal system works. Like, I think from my understanding of it, like all these homeowners, like their lakefront's not great anymore because like fish are dying and it's kind of gross. But like none of them have like probably enough harm on their own to have standing against a factory across the lake, really. So like what this community group did is like banded together and I think formed a nonprofit and that claimed that purports to represent the lake, and then they like went ahead and sued all these polluters on behalf of the lake, and that, like, there was, like, as you might imagine, a set of legal appeals by the polluters, which they eventually lost. And so it's like, okay, in this particular state, I feel like it's in the Midwest of the U.S., but I don't remember where. It's okay to kind of like be like, I represent the trees. Like, that's pretty interesting, actually. I would expect that idea will probably have an impact on legal discourse in America. What things can you represent and under what circumstances? But with smart contracts and blockchain, like actually you kind of can go one more level right away. Like it's perfectly possible right now for a car or a drone or a forest to trigger a message out to something that takes care of it or moves it around or something like that. And like nobody's really spent very much time on this now. Like it's like a thing futurists say in talks, but it's not a thing any entrepreneurs or innovators seem to be working on that I know of. And I think that's probably because they just need better, some better use cases, some interesting use cases. And also I think that there's a little bit of the like utopian dream has bled out of the blockchain community, like the side of the blockchain community that's focused on these sort of rich interactions and programmability. So Ethereum, EOS, that group. So, I've been thinking about the DAO recently, and there's a very exciting new book being put together by Bloomberg reporter Matthew Lasing about the DAO. So I think like just the DAO hack and how it went and all of that, and I think that'll be fun for people to read, and I'm like excited to read it. So as we've been talking about the book, like I was just reminded at that era, the DAO is just this very ambitious idea where people are gonna, like this thing is gonna get together and kind of own and control itself and determine all the interactions that outside people, money can have with it. And the DAO was hacked, it was a lot of drama, and I think in response the community sort of like decided that they had to work on simpler use cases first, but I think they also gave up some of their sort of utopian dreams for like just new ways of interacting economically, practically, all that. So I think that's too bad, and I'd like to see people get back to that. I'd like to be inspired by some projects like that again. And I think that probably one area that could happen is on this like objects that own themselves. So I'll talk about that more on another time.